Hello. The reports on the collective bargaining bill that came out of committee were actually in conflict. Some reports said it was as it originally started. Does it still have the stuff about binding arbitration?
What specifically?
Well, the provision that says if the governor doesn't like it, he can say he doesn't find it.
No, that's out.
That was struck. Okay, so they've already made some changes in the bill. Before that was struck, it was the Wisconsin bill. Okay, it effectively repealed collective bargaining in the state before that, because it said we have a system now that has binding arbitration. This was this labor law we have in the state of Iowa was passed by a Republican legislature in 1974, signed by a Republican governor in 1974. It is not exactly the best, most labor-friendly collective bargaining law in the country. As a matter of fact, it is so stacked already to the benefit of management that it was a few years ago that the teachers in the state of Iowa, this powerful labor group in the state of Iowa and this collective bargaining law that so stacks the advantage for labor, they had managed to negotiate themselves all the way up to 42nd in the country on teacher pay. Really stacked in favor of unions, wasn't it? Now, there's a lot of talk out there. There's a lot of talk about health care. By the way, the state and many local governments have pretty generous mechanisms in terms of paying for health care, health insurance in the state of Iowa. When they got that, they actually gave up funds on the other side of the ledger. So when you take everything into consideration, there's a lot of talk that public employees make more than private employees. Well, it is true that well over 50% of the people that work in state government, the positions require college degrees. And it is true that people with college degrees tend to make more than people at the minimum wage. That's a true fact. So if you take all of those things into consideration, and you really look and compare apples to apples in terms of state employees or local employees, and look at their actual job descriptions and compare them, public employees make about 11% less than folks in the private sector. So it's not really that the deck is stacked against management in the state. So, there's going to be a lot of talk about this bill as it moves forward in the process. They've already changed it significantly in the House. If changes continue, we may, in fact, be willing to take that bill up in the Senate and go further with it. If we're just going to have to wait and see what they actually produce. But I got to tell you, there's a heck of a lot of misinformation out there. I want you to remember something. You're talking about your friends and neighbors. You're talking about people that run into buildings that are on fire to get you out of there. You're talking about people that have some of the toughest jobs in the world. You're talking about social workers that deal with in-crisis families. You're talking about guards in our prisons and our jails that protect us. You're talking about your friends and neighbors. So look around when you hear talk about public employees. They're right next to you. They were out this morning, put in the sidewalks for us. A whole host of those kinds of discussions over the years. And the truth is, I can go find a study that says they're paid less. They can go find a study that says they're paid more. That's the reality. There are studies on both sides of it. But I would say the studies that say they're paid more don't even adjust for educational level of the positions. So let me repeat. If you're going to compare a position that requires a college degree with a position that is minimum wage and doesn't even require a high school diploma, how can you say that's a rational comparison? It's just completely irrational. It was put together by a right-wing think tank that loves to pick on public employees. I know it's nice to pick on public employees. That's fun. It's great sport. These are people that work very hard. And let me repeat, if this system is so out of whack, so stunningly out of whack, why was it the teachers were only able to bargain themselves up to 42nd in the country in teacher pay. This system is not out of whack. When public employees get pay less for the cost of their health care, that's because they also get paid less on an hourly basis. They gave something up when they got that, right? And if people think it's important on the healthcare side, that's fine. But if you compare apples to apples, Bureau of Labor Statistics positions to Bureau of Labor Statistics positions, matched positions, computer programmers, social workers, if you compare all of those things, what you'll find is public employees are actually paid less than folks in the